Thanks for tuning into Indian Trace. I've got to try to make this faster. The first video didn't work. I have an idea in mind. Of course, I've always said in every artifact that I've picked up, and I have some really great serrated artifacts that I want to show in response to a shout out that said, you know, I just love the serrated pieces, don't find a whole lot, really appreciate seeing them. So I'm going to show you some of what I call my display quality serrated pieces up to this date. And I haven't been collecting a whole long time, so to me that's the cream of the crop for my serrated. We'll get to that in a second. I've always said it's about the people. Curtis took some of the greatest pictures at the break of the century of the last remaining, I think, traditionally accurate pictures of the North American Indian. Beautiful picture here. And look at this Navajo boy. I was fortunate earlier in my life to live with the Navajo, but the depth of Curtis's black and white and tonal pictures is great. But I've always said it's really about the people. It's about their bloodline and the story that they went through. Inevitably, for us to have this country the way we do. For the new ones here, these here that we're going to take a look at, I'll keep my time here real quick, came from here. Some of you know that. This is a great way, if you're interested, and I've highlighted it before, to keep things divided and safe. I've never broken anything here. They're safe. It doesn't really go out the door. I have a really great place just to keep artifacts, as you can see. Keeps them nice and organized by love, by style, by material. It's just great stuff. And that, to me, is just a really great way to keep them organized. A 7-tray, the biggest tackle box I could find. And it's got to be handled with gentleness, else it's going to completely probably snap. But no, it's not that dangerous. But that's 3 years of intelligently collecting, at least in my opinion. The first year I wasn't really intelligent about it. All right, these two groups, serration in many, many sites that I've had here with many places I've gone. Let's do this group first. Just want to go through these and make some comments as I go about, now these pieces, because they're in my display box, are all favorites. So, I mean, I could say a lot about each one, but I want you just to be able to have a close-up like you could pick it up, like you could feel it yourself, and I think that's a really important thing. Opening sands, a point from the ARCHAIC, just the qualities of them are great, and I might share something here or there. This is, of course, ground smooth on the bottom, early ARCHAIC, I believe. Keep focused on the serrations for the shout-outs, a couple friends out there. This was found almost 3 years ago, this point out of rhyolite in Beaver Point, which, of course, I always watch, but it doesn't open as much as I want it to in terms of the cycle of agriculture. You got to be patient in this game, and a lot of you guys know that. But this one was a new one from Notchville. Just couldn't be more happy about that. I mean, that's 2 inches square, a little more. Just a great piece. I was pretty shocked about that one. That is on film. If you haven't gone back in time, maybe some of these you haven't seen, but most of these were ones that I had to film. But this is different light and just a different atmosphere. The people that left these here, what a great expression of their lives that was locked in time, you know? If it doesn't get broken up, that's just a fantastic piece right there. And this one, I mean, all of these you can see as we go through each one are just worthy of being in the favorites, you know? That's a favorite piece from the bear. B&B field right here. The lighting seems to be real good right now through the windows and glass. I guess the sun's not blaring and it's just plenty of natural light, nothing artificial. Just great examples in North American Indian. Another from Site 5 in B&B field. Bifurcated. Then the two in the middle, just recently did find this one at Mecca. And then this one I found some time ago when I was right next door to it in Opening Sands. Who knows, you know? Same person could have made both of them, and at the same time, they could be divided by 1,000 years. Really wild to be able to pick up and collect the authentic artifacts of millenniums past. Just great stuff. Now, this small stuff on the top, I grabbed out of a little bit different bin. I mean, all of this stuff is out of one little cubby in a tackle box. And so that's pretty cool to me. But it'll make a good frame someday when I have the space in place where I can display it that way. These little ones are unbelievable. Let me go through them. This was from Mecca. Give you a real close-up, just almost a touch. You know, I always think through, you know, why this community? Why do we really appreciate the artifacts of the North American Indian? What's it about? Certainly not about the material and the rocks to me. It's about the people, the person who produced this to feed their family. Look at this piece. And that was it. Their prestige, their love, their social security, if you will, came in the gain that they would attain and kill through these points to be able to feed their family and their mates and their loved ones. It's just something else. So we're looking at expendable resource here, as I would call it at work. Nice point right here, up close and personal. And to me, that's a unique admiration, because even though we love it and these are valuable and precious to us, they were throwaway to the North American Indian. They produced these with skill and dexterity and went on to produce another and could produce as many as they wanted and would spend some time just making a pile of them and getting them hafted. To us, they've become infinitely more valuable. So, cool stuff altogether. I always throw that stuff around and just think through it. Notchville 3. Look at this point. Early point from Riverdale. About an inch. And then look at this one that just barely makes an inch. Not even. A screamer. Now that point's a great little point, isn't it? Some have seen it before who've been around a little while on the site. But with these two groups here that impressed me enough just to make them my keepers, I'm just thankful that I could share them with you guys who love serrations again. Thank you again as I close out for tuning into Indian Trace. And remember the people who produce these in their story. And tell it. Tell your children what really has happened, how you feel about it, and we'll move forward the best we can. I suppose to be the best we can to people. To be integrate and to be decent, you know. And that's my soapbox. Thanks for tuning into Indian Trace. I appreciate it.